Hey guys, it's SCR Perez. I tried doing this video about 15 minutes ago and then found out that, none of it uploaded. So we're going to try this again. As you read in the description, it's the 2015 in review and much needed venting for me. Everyone tells me I have a lot of anger built up and a lot of mental, uh, discrepancies that I need to shed some light on so that way it doesn't stress me out and kill my ass, I guess. Uh, I guess I'll start how I started the last one. Most of you know I'm from Las Vegas. Wasn't born there, but damn it, that city raised me. It helped me grow up and deal with a lot of strange shit that most of the people will never deal with. I've had friends come and go, either from moving or from death, from a lot of bullshit. Um, Lost one friend in 2001 thanks to the chicken shits at the September 11th thing. Thank you all for that. From the time in the end of high school till the day I decided to move, which was 2003, I dealt roughly with over 100 different girls that I ended up dating. And that's an estimation. Don't get it twisted. I wasn't all about quantity. I wanted quality, but it was one of those things where I guess girls think they want a nice guy, but they end up wanting a bad boy. Ones that'll treat them like shit and use them for sex, and that's about it. That's not me. That's never been me. I was actually raised right, like I actually had some fucking common sense. Treat women like princesses and queens like they should be, till they give you a reason not to. Out of that 100 different girls I dated, 100 of them cheated on me. And the reason for that, they all made it kind of simple. I wasn't the bad boy, the user that they wanted apparently at that time. Then later on, when they see me down the road, they wonder why we broke up in the first place. News flashes: you can't make a hoe into a housewife. Well, I mean, that's an old saying, but it's very true. Even today's standards, it's very true. Sorry, the next part is the part that really screws me up. I met one girl uh, right after the September 11th thing, and I don't know if I can mention names. I don't know her last name anyway. I couldn't pronounce it when I was with her. Her name was Connie, and yeah, we were together about a year and everything. Then she fell for that whole bullshit. Oh, come house sit with me from this random guy, and she said that he ended up raping her. So at this point, I go into protective boyfriend fiance mode and proceed to find said rapist. I head down to where this all happened, and surprisingly enough, I ran into this son of a bitch and proceed to get ready to show him how I think of his whole situation with my fiance at the time. And she stops me, says that he's not worth me going to jail over. After much convincing of about 45 minutes, I get back in the car, drive away, and just let it be. 2 months go by, and I decide I've had enough of all the lying and sneaking around and bullshit. So not being a chicken shit and just go ahead and cheat on her, I proceed to get ready to tell her straight to her face. I, and assuming that I'm assuming that she knew what was coming, because she quickly informed me that she was pregnant with my child. Looking back on it, I see how naive I really was about this situation. But also, being the kind of person I was very happy and wanted to do everything right to raise this child. We continued to stay together. I would talk to her stomach, sing to her stomach, so the baby would know who I was. 2 weeks prior to my dad and I moving out here to Missouri, she, we're talking, me and her talking on the phone, and she tells me that her dad punched and kicked her in the stomach. So I go into real protective mode and get my dad and my best friend. We jump in the car and head over to her house because we don't take kindly to situations like that. We get over there. Her mom and dad are standing outside. She's over in like a corner area of the front of the house. I go over to her and I told her father I'd be with him in just a minute. She then tells me that the whole thing was made up, that he didn't hit her, he didn't kick her. And I was like, I'm here because I'm here to protect you. She told me that she knew that. She was very thankful to have someone like me in her life like that. I quickly told her, or asked her, was there anything else that she wanted to tell me before I ended up moving to Missouri? Because I was going to take her. That was the original plan. She then proceeds to tell me that she doesn't want to go with me. I ask why. She tells me that she couldn't face the fact that she had lied to me. I was like, lied about what? She's like, for 6 months I have told you that I was pregnant. I'm not pregnant. I was afraid you would leave me. So I kept up the lie. Looking back, I know I should have noticed that at 6 months you should be showing something. And everyone, isn't it pretty justified to have like a big anger and sorrow come over you after someone had lied to you for over half a year, especially being a father, having a family that you've wanted? I mean, that's just my thing. I told her if I ever come back to Las Vegas, that it'd be in her best interest to not look me up, because I sure as hell wouldn't look her up, and to not cross my path ever. I was raised right not to hit a woman, but guys, I know there's women out there in your mind, you've already beaten the shit out of them. And trust me, I don't condone beating women or nothing like that. But in my mindset at that time, it was the best thing for me to walk away from it. One day before leaving Las Vegas, I was going down 95 highway in my little race car I built. I was running about 75, 80 miles an hour. Car pulls up next to me. Guy's yelling something out his window to me. I ain't paying attention. It's just normal bullshit. I just happened to glance over at him. He leans in the backseat of his car, comes back up with a gun. I hit the first off ramp and find back roads all the way to my house. I get home, tell my dad, I'm done. I'm done with this city. I'm done with all these people trying to hurt me and everything else. So I'm uh I'm loading all my shit. Notice there's, like, memories, because I mean, a year and a half, you're gonna have memories of the person you're with. And then I loaded up my car, and from the city limit of Las Vegas to about 20 miles outside, I was listening to Three Doors Down CD. But for those 20 miles, I couldn't see the road through the tears that I had for leaving the city that raised me and made me the person that I was supposed to become. The love that I had for that city was tarnished by all the bullshit that I had dealt with in that short span of time. And looking back, it was one of the biggest regrets I've ever had. And a lot of depression, of course, settled on me from all the anger and things that I had endured in that 20, 21 years that I lived there. So the trip out to Missouri, that was no problem. And I told myself I was going to be in Missouri 3 to 6 months, just enough for my dad to get settled and everything else. 3 month mark come around, I was done. I was ready to come home, and a water hose on my car had a small puncture in it. I didn't even know it, and I ended up blowing the motor in my car. So I was like, well, as soon as I get the motor replaced and everything, then I'm gone. Well, after 9 months, that was when I actually got my motor repaired enough that I could drive the car. But I ended up having a job that was 50 miles away, one way trip. Well, and the only car I had was my little race car. 100 miles round trip every day. And it was during the winter too, so the nice, cool, freezing weather on a hopped up racing motor, you know how greatly that worked out. So I ended up blowing the damn motor again. I fixed it yet again and got it driving ready and everything, and got a different job, and we moved to a different house that was a lot closer. It was about 10 minutes to my job, and I was like, oh, I'm good. Once I get enough money, I'm gone. That was it. It was already set. I was there, I think it was 6 months, because I was going to use it to transfer. January of 2005, I started flirting with this girl that got hired. I was like, that's okay. Everyone is all about quantity, so I'm just gonna, try to rack up some numbers here. I know, don't think like that, guys. That's very bad. And then, yeah, we were flirting, everything else. We ended up going out, and I ain't gonna lie, I actually fell in love with her the very first night we went out. And it was something that hadn't happened to me before, because even with my ex fiance, that took a long time. Probably because we didn't connect on any kind of level at all. And we decided to, you know, keep seeing each other and everything else. Well, come to find out, she had a husband, so I was basically the other guy. Well, she was also separated and going through a divorce with this guy. But then also, she had a boyfriend too that I didn't know of at the time. And so was the other guy. You know how pork's the other white meat. I'm the, I guess, tofu substitute. And after about 3 or 4 months of being with her, I told her, I was like, you gotta make a choice. I was like, you can't just string me along. I was like, I've been through this shit in the past. I can't go through this. So she ended up choosing to be with me because I was the good boy that didn't do drugs, didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't do any of that bullshit. So, yeah, a little bit later on, she got pregnant. And I was thinking, oh, good, here's another Connie relapse. No, it wasn't like that at all. She was actually pregnant with my child. She went for 5 weeks. We went in for ultrasound. Come to find out, uh, I don't know at that point if it's a process of miscarrying or what, but the baby wasn't growing anymore or anything. Nothing was developing, and there was no heartbeat anymore. So that crushed me, and it crushed her too. And then about 2009, I say it is 2008, 2009. I had a goddaughter back in Las Vegas. Someone informed me that her real dad had taken her and was drunk and was involved in a car accident. She she was killed on impact, and for the fact that a biological father could do this to their own child, it kind of makes you sick. This girl was born with leukemia. Beat that. Loved cars, just the speed, I think, mainly. And because of one stupid act of yeah, I can't even say it. Acting like a damn fool. I'll say it that way. She can't be around where she could grow up and have great time or anything. This was after me and my wife had been married about 3 years that I found this out. And she has at the when I first got with my wife, she had a almost 2-year old daughter. I've been in her life since late January, early February of 2002, or sorry, 2005. I've raised that child like it was my own. And another biological father is too chicken shit to step up and be a man. The first 10 years of her life, he saw her maybe 3 times, besides when she was first born. But when I got involved, 3 times. I had no hangups with him. I encouraged him wanting to see his daughter. I was hoping he'd want to see his daughter. But then he was too chicken shit to actually step up and be a man and take care of her. Only one close to him that would take care of her was his mommy. He currently lives with his mommy. And my daughter was bullied about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So we decided that it'd be good for her to spend time with her real dad, and maybe she would excel at the other school and maybe not be teased and everything else. We did it for the good of her. He stays in the basement of his mommy's house, and his mommy raises her. But she does excel there, and she's no longer bullied. She's actually, I believe, on the honor roll out there. They're only an hour and a half down the road. We can go see her. We see her every other weekend, which is good. My wife and I, ever since her miscarriage, we've tried and tried for us to have a child. I don't know if it's because of our weight. As you can see, I'm a big guy. And I'm not saying big guy, I mean fat ass is what I mean. But that I've seen people bigger than me be able to get their girls pregnant and everything else, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. It'll happen when it's supposed to happen. But going back to the depression thing, I know it's kind of all over the place. It doesn't really make too much sense. But yeah, when I was younger, about 13 or 14, I I had like a big depression thing. It's the puberty bullshit that hits you, and oh no, the girl said no to me, so I'm gonna kill myself kind of bullshit. That's the whole basis of the emo thing anymore. We just call it being screwed up. Now there's a name for it. Emo. Y'all need a hug. And then so I dealt with that bullshit. 2012, some of you know, I went through some family related stuff. Um, Kind of a falling out, but I graduated as a chef and everything else. But right after graduation, my wife decided she wanted to contact an old friend. And I only found this out because one day the great social media that's now a big part of everyone's world was up. I seen the conversation and talked to her about it. Basically didn't like the answers I got, and the depression got me. I headed to the local river. At that point, I figured that since I was more of an adult, that instead of enduring the pain that I went through as a teenager, through the first part of my 20s, I would end it so I wouldn't have to deal with it going into my 30s. Luckily, at that point, I had some friends contacted me through Facebook at the time, like on the little messenger thing or just instant messaging. I don't remember how it was. They convinced me of like thinking it through, and they talked me down. So, oh, I'm still here. So apparently they talked me down from it. So let's flash forward to 2015. Because I know you're probably all getting tired of listening to me talk. I'm getting tired of talking myself. 2015, I was in my last semester again for another degree, this time auto body repair. Uh, I I completed that May 2015. Right after that, got hired at the post office. Started working in June. Figured, wow, this was a job that I had always wanted when I was younger. I can make a big name for myself and a big life for myself and my family. Paid great. Worked there 4 months. Never was late. Never did anything wrong. Anything against the rules. Nothing. October 13th. One of the biggest days they had ever seen come through the post office. And for me, since I'd never been exposed to a volume of that magnitude, I was already stressing out because I didn't know how to cope with it. We got there at 5 a.m. Normally, I leave the terminal about 10, 11 o'clock. On this day, I left the terminal at 1:45, 2 o'clock, around there. I was doing my route. I was in such a stressful state of mind that I had somehow mislabeled my trays that I went off of, and they're in sequential order. One through that day was 17, and I had mislabeled them, and I thought I had lost one. So I did the responsible thing, contacted my supervisor. She jumped my case and was yelling at me and just went ape shit on me. So that put even more stress on me, and I allowed it to get to me. And then uh, it was getting late. It was about 8 o'clock, and I still had packages. And the reason for it was the fact that I was actually providing customer service and I had lost track of myself. It was my own fault. I admitted to it. When I contacted my supervisor about it, that I needed help, she was like, "We'll send someone out." I was like, "Okay, good, because we can knock this out, get it done." At that point, my vision started going blurry and my hands were shaking like this. I recalled my manager and said, I told her what was going on, and she said, "Get back to the terminal," and she would be waiting for my resignation first thing in the morning. Now, keep in mind, didn't ask if I was okay, anything like that. Told me to get back and fill out a resignation form in the morning. Now, one time have I ever had any reason for them to doubt my abilities. I get back. She yells at me, and talks down to me like I'm a fucking child in front of other coworkers. I have my wife. Luckily, I had my wife meet me at my terminal. She was in the parking lot, heard the manager, got her on video with this bullshit too. I come in the following day, basically talked him back into giving me my job back. I worked a little bit. Vision started going blurry, started shaking again. Told my manager, I was like, I gotta go to the hospital. I went to the hospital, couldn't find out I had very high blood pressure, and my stress levels through the roof. They brought a crash cart in, set it right next to me. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, but that's a real fucking wake up call and let you know, hey, maybe this ain't the shit I should be doing. So I proceeded to fill a resignation form for the following day. Took it in there, and I basically got a good 3 weeks off and re-signed back up for the post office. Went back to working for him, but this time as a mail hand or mail sorter, basically just doing everything that no one else wants to do. And I did that job for a week, but they were sitting there with expectations of people quitting and being fired and dropping like flies in the first couple days. So I let that get the better of me, and I tapped out like a dumbass. That was November 13th. So when that started happening, all the bills decided to come in at one time, stressing me out beyond belief. Didn't know where the hell the money was going to come from, this and that. And then recently, December 23rd, 2015, one of the lowest days I've ever had in my life. The 22nd, I think I informed my sister that I was stressing out a lot, and the depression was starting to set in on me. And the depression just kept overnight. And my mom offered to take my wife and I to lunch and everything. I talked to her a little bit, trying to vent some of this shit out of my mind. It didn't help any. I went home that night, thought about it more and more and more, stressing out about it more and more, got even farther into depression. Got so far into it that I went for a drive that night, not to the river this time. Drove around by myself, alone with my thoughts in my mind, and thought about driving.
It's just more important.
And that'll conclude the damn broadcast. Okay, bye.